What it is, folks, it's your homeboy First back again with another episode of the realest, most entertaining show in the game. Put it on something. This is episode 215 of Put It On Something. Happy to be here with y'all. Very important episode. I am filming this the day before the election. Okay. And because of that, I usually start with Jackson State content. Shout out to all my real ones down with Jackson State University. But I want to make sure I film this and get this segment out as quickly as possible. Y'all know that I committed to doing some kind of segment on the election every episode leading up to the election. And I've done my best with this, with that, in the midst of, providing care for my mother and, doing all of the other things that I have to do in my life, being a father, husband, businessman. But it's here now. It's here now. So no matter what happens in the election, whether you voted early already, whether you didn't get registered to vote, whether you are registered to vote and you end up not going, I still want to share this message that you are powerful. You are powerful. What you talking about first? I'm going to tell y'all what I'm talking about momentarily, okay? Very important message now. This message was inspired last night while texting my youngins. So it's very important. Before I share that message, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, put all your people on it, okay? Put all your people on it. I need your support. I need your support. That's the only way messages like this will continue to get amplified, is if I have your support. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Follow me across all social media platforms. You see it coming across your screen. You're going to see it in the description of the video. That's the easiest thing you can do to support the real shit that I'm trying to do for our people. Okay. Let's get into this. There's this website that you can go to, and you can just type people's name in and see who voted. Okay? It's a very simple thing. I came across this on Twitter. Okay? And I think the rapper Waka Flocka Flame had said something about Trump, to make America great again. Yeah, I've already done a segment about Waka Flocka being on that fuck shit. Check that out if you haven't seen that. Okay. But some queen quote tweeted his ass and utilizing this site, which is called didmyfriendsvote.org. She pointed out that motherfucker ain't voted. He up here trying to tell folk vote for Trump, and his ass is not a voter. Does not have a track record of voting. See, who you vote for is secret, allegedly. But whether or not you voted is not. Okay? So I went to typing in my youngest names. on this site. And I texted them the results. Some of my youngins, not all of my youngins. So you one of my youngins and you seen it, you like, oh, Coach didn't hit me up. This is a particular group of youngins I talk to pretty much every single day. So let me go in here and see what these boys and did. And so I send it to them. You know, and just encourage them that they need to fucking vote every time, like I do. Okay? You type my name in on that motherfucker, you gonna see. I live what I say. Okay? I take my wife and my 2 children to vote. My kid is gonna be right there with me. That from the time they were babies till now. When they knew what the fuck was going on up until now. When it's election day, they are going with me. So that's the kind of shit that I am trying to influence my youngers to do. And what I noticed is there is this sense of powerlessness amongst not only my youngers, this is really amongst many Americans. And it's jarring because I had this experience back when I was a child. My mentor, one of my mentors, Coach Daniel Mentors. Shout out, Coach. I love you. He once had me going knocking on doors in one of these projects around here in my city and trying to get people registered to vote. And I was just a teen, you know what I'm saying? And I remember this adult male telling me, I ain't no white folk gonna do whatever they want to do anyway, and slam the door in my face. Now, as I've grown older, studied history, taught history, that brother's response is understandable on one. He was an older fella. It's understandable on one, in one regard, but infuriating in another. In one regard, you know, as an older gentleman, he probably remembers a time where no matter what, black folks ain't gonna get shit. You can't do shit because that's the way this shit was set up during Jim Crow. You like really felt powerless. You had to pay taxes in this bitch without having a say. Crazy, ain't it? That a lot of these racists idolize, you know, George Washington and all them boys who railed against, who went to war because of taxation without representation. Then them motherfuckers did they enslaved us, of course. Them same motherfuckers were enslaving us. But then even years later, generations later, after slavery, them motherfuckers taxed us without giving us representation down here in the South. So part of me understood that gentleman being cynical about the political process and feeling like he doesn't matter. But then the other part of me was like, God damn, man. Then when I was doing it, this was in the 2000s, early 2000s, okay, when I'm in high school. So the other part of me like, God damn, man. If you got to also remember all these folks who have fought, bled, died to create change in this bitch. Like, by the time I was that age, going around knocking on those doors, my hometown had a black mayor. I remember distinctly when the first black mayor of my little city of Canton, Mississippi, when she got in there, Mayor Scott, man, it was some shit around this bitch. Like, I wasn't politically involved or whatever like that yet, but I just remember the city being wild. I remember the Ku Klux Klan came to my motherfucking city, dog, in opposition to that. I remember that. But just the fact that she became mayor showed change. Change. And it showed us using our power. So with my youngest, man, it seemed like some of them on some shit like fuck the government, they just corrupt, quit believing in them, and Trump and Kamala Harris are two cheeks of the same ass. Like, there are so many of us, bro, who just check out on this shit. Just check out. Don't care. Feel like both sides, this, both sides, both sides. Again, part of me understands the being a cynic about both sides. But to say that they are the fucking same in 2024 is egregious. That shit's egregious. You got one woman over here who, whether you agree with her policies or not, the woman has led a life and risen through the ranks in the most traditional way you possibly can. Like just getting it out the mud. Prosecutor, state attorney general for our most populous state. Let me back up. Prosecutor in one of our most notable cities, attorney general for our most populous state. Okay. Senator from that same state, vice president, and now presidential nominee. No criminal history. No sex scandals. I know folk want to try to call her a hoe in Trammers or something like that because she dated Montel Williams, or because she might have talked something that grown ass woman. That woman 60 years old. I'm sure she wasn't no virgin before she met Doug Emhoff. Fuck we talking about? This other motherfucker over here been found liable of rape. He's on tape saying you can grab women by the pussy if you are rich and famous. They let you do it. If you're a star, they let you do it. That ain't two cheeks of the same ass right there. That ain't. You got one motherfucking Donald Trump who is promising to give police immunity. Let them do their jobs. While the other motherfucker over here, yes, as a former prosecutor, but I read her book. She was a different kind of prosecutor than the motherfuckers I know around here where I am. These folks ain't trying to put in no program like no back on track to help motherfuckers get literally back on track, after they got in trouble. These motherfuckers around here ain't trying to do nothing about school truancy and, try to get ahead of the shit, try to be proactive before, because we know so many of this shit can be seen early during your school days before you end up in a life of criminality. Like, she did some proactive shit. And also was a sponsor of the George Floyd bill that still, needs to be passed and signed. So one want to get a police immunity, one wants some police reform. That ain't two cheeks of the same man. One want to give tax cuts to the billionaires like Elon Musk. The other one want to try to do shit that's gonna help the middle class, like let Medicare pay for caregivers. That'll help me, and that'll allow free me up to go out here and get money, trying to give loans to small businesses, trying to give tax credits to middle class people. Like, this shit different. It's different. There's motherfuckers in his own party don't like him. Loudly. And I know everybody ain't on Kamala. I'm sure in the Democratic Party, some people still pissed about Biden's handling of Israel and Gaza. And because of that, what also, she catch smoke behind it. So I'm sure on the left there's some who pissed off. This man on people who work with him don't fuck with him. His vice president don't fuck with him. Mike Pence. Chief of staff, John Kelly don't fuck with him. Hella people who worked in the White House with this man do not fuck with him. Come on, man. This is not two cheeks of the same man. But I get it. My youngest, some of my youngest, and so many, just look at their own lives and they feel like, man, I keep hearing the same shit from these motherfuckers, man, and they ain't doing nothing. I don't feel it. But you should. You should feel it because the effects of the government is all around us. And I think that's the disconnect. That's the disconnect. Because we don't acknowledge how much of a role the government plays in our motherfucking lives. From the water you drink, the water come out of your faucet, the government got a large role in that. Whether you got some of these fucked up ass pipes like in Jackson, Mississippi or Flint, Michigan, government got a lot to do with that because of infrastructure spending. The regulations that go into protecting us and protecting the food that we eat, making sure that the food that we eat is safe, making sure that the drugs that we take are safe. The FDA, that's government. The roads you drive on, the bridges you drive over, making sure they're safe and not fucked up. That's the government. That's the government. The schools that your children go to, or in my youngest case, your future children will go to. Of course, that's the government. What they will learn in those schools, the government's deciding that stuff. Medicaid. Everybody watching this shit knows somebody on Medicaid. That's the government. Medicare. Social Security. This shit is all around us. How can we act like the government is just, it don't affect us? So I ain't no sense of me going to vote when the effects of the government is all around us, bro. And you have one candidate and his ilk wanting to gut the budget for domestic spending on things like education. This motherfucker want to close the Department of Education. Trump does. Whereas the other person is a part of an administration that has given record amounts of money to HBCUs, where the majority of black doctors come from. This cannot be two cheeks of the same ass. It's just not. One motherfucker over here, Trump, wants to deregulate. Meaning he wants to take the rules, get these rules out of the way, let these businesses do what the hell they want to do. We've seen that before in American history. We've seen that. It didn't go well for the average man and woman. It went well for the rich. It went well for the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. That's who it went well for in the late 1800s. They were caking up. They were ruling this land. They were Elon Musk on steroids. Meanwhile, the average man and woman was working 12 to 16-hour days, Child labor was legal. You had little kids up in there. In these factories, they wasn't in nobody's school. And then you still end up poor. You still couldn't make ends meet. These motherfuckers were living in tenements. And that was mostly in your northern city. Down south, sharecropping was the primary thing black people were doing. They weren't getting ahead. They weren't getting ahead. And then everybody want to talk about immigration. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, open borders. They want everybody to come up here. Bruh, who's hiring these immigrants? Who's hiring them? These folks wouldn't be coming here if they didn't think they can get a job. So who's hiring them? It sure ain't black folks that's hiring them. We don't own these factories. We don't own these construction companies that's hiring them. Who's hiring them? We don't own these big vegetable plantations and fruit plantations. Who's hiring them then? It's these conservative, rich, white folks who's hiring them. But see, the Trump voters don't get mad at them for hiring them and enticing them to come on over and paying them a little bit of nothing so they don't have to pay native-born Americans a fair wage. They get mad at the immigrants who just trying to come up in this bitch and have a better life. You're beefing with the wrong motherfuckers, man. It's the Trumps of the world who are hiring them. This man came up in real estate and construction and building shit. You know, goddamn well that man and employed a whole lot of illegal immigrants. But then want to tell y'all that they the enemy. God damn it, he part of the reason they been coming over here. But see, if you feel powerless, if you feel like you don't matter, if you feel like they're going to do what they want to do anyway, if you feel like they simply corrupt, then you know what? They're going to prove you right. They're going to keep being corrupt. They're going to keep doing what they want to do because your ass ain't going to hold them accountable. They know you ain't going to do shit. They looking at you like you a pussy. They looking at you like you scared. Like they can just do whatever. When in actuality, the government ain't nothing but a collection of human beings, just like you and I, who have jobs that we have given to them or allowed them to have by just staying on the sideline. So I say to you, no matter what the fuck happens on election day, remember that you are fucking powerful. You are powerful. If Kamala Harris wins, you must still use your motherfucking power to push her in the direction that you want her to go. We gotta push her. If you want her to put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel to stop that motherfucking shit over there, you gotta use that. You gotta push her. If you want her to go ahead and use the bullet pulpit to try to get Congress to pass a bill to at least finally study reparations, then get the ball rolling with that, we got to push her ass. And we want the George Floyd bill to finally get. First of all, we got to have a majority. Democrats got to have majority in the House and the Senate. That's another thing. Okay, I hate how political candidates act like, I will do this. No, they need to just be amend the damn sentence and say, I will try. I will do my best. But I need a Congress. Okay? But I'm sure the speech writers and the strategists don't think that sounds right. You got to show that like you're a doer and all that kind of stuff. Stop fucking lying to the American people. You know goddamn well in this country, some stuff you can do through executive action, but most of this big shit you got to have Congress. Okay? But I digress. Whatever the fuck you want, you got to, even if Kamala Harris wins, you got to push a motherfucking ass. If Donald Trump wins, you can't sit back and say, hey, see, I told you, they going to do what they want to do. No, you got to push back against his ass. Because I'm telling you, the shit that he trying to do is fucking crazy. These tariffs, look up the Smoot-Hawley tariff. Look it up. and see how disastrous that shit was. Okay? Shit this man trying to do is crazy. Crazy. So we got to push back. You are fucking powerful. Powerful. So don't let no motherfucking body castrate you. Don't let nobody make you feel like from my brothers out there now, because I'm speaking to my youngest specifically and all the black brothers out there, because when I was typing in these names, that was most of who I was seeing that vote. Don't let these motherfuckers emasculate you. Shit. Drop your nuts. Take your ass to voting. Even after you vote, be civically engaged. Shit, you see these motherfuckers, they got social media handles at they motherfucking ass. Get on them. Get on them. Let them know how the fuck you feel. And let's keep pressure. These folks controlling your tax dollars, bro. They controlling your money, bro. Your tax dollars. And I know you don't play about your money. But you just gonna give it to the government because they the government. For they a collection of human beings. Well, goddamn it, we can build a collection of human beings, goddamn it, and be more powerful than them because we the people run this bitch. We the people run this motherfucker. And we ain't finna let nobody change that. Our ancestors have fought too fucking hard for us to be included in this bitch. So don't think you are powerless. In contrast, you are indeed powerful. Put it on something.